Turn on the power. Wait for your screen to warm up. And on this screen, we're going to pick the full test. So you just hit full test, and it tells you step by step what you need to do. Yes. First, you're going to set the bag vent switch. The next step says leave the patient Y open. Yes. The next step says calibrate the flow sensor. You come over here with your inspiratory and expiratory limbs, and right underneath that is a green lever that you pull out, and you wiggle the whole module out only part way. You should get yellow messages up here that says no flows sensors. Push it back in and lock it. Now you've calibrated your flow sensors. Hit start. Takes about 25 seconds. The second part to the test is that it says make sure the bellows are fully empty, which they are. This time they want you to occlude the patient Y, and the occlusion knob is right here. Connect it there and select continue. This part takes about 2.5 minutes. This is when you will do other things like drop your medicines, etc. Now we're going to do the circuit leak. So we're going to occlude the Y, switch your bag vent switch over to bag, put your APL valve between 30 and 70, and select start. And this is going to be doing your circuit leak. So what it tells you here is to do the rest of your checks, things like get it to bag, which it already is, set your APL valve to minimum, flush the circuit with oxygen, check your drugs and your suction, etc. If we go back to the beginning one, we also can do our low pressure leak. I did that by hitting the back. And you run this 3 times. You want to run it with the vaporizers closed, and then you run it 1 time with each vaporizer open. So what you do is they want you to take this plug and put it in the right hand port. You plug the port. I have my vaporizers closed, and I hit start. Low leak test okay. It yells at you if you hit back before you take this plug out. It needs to confirm that you've taken the plug out. I hit the back button. I'm going to do the low peak again, and I'm going to put the vaporizer, put the plug in the same right port, and I'm going to put the vaporizer to 1%. And hit the start button again. And you'll do that for each of your vaporizers. Great, so that one's okay, and then you would proceed and do the exact same thing for the next one. I go behind and I check my oxygen. So this square right here is showing you we have 1384 in the tank, and right now we have 0 in the main line because I've disconnected it. I'm now going to flush by hitting the flush button because I want to see the alarm say we're out of oxygen, and that will come up here in red. It will beep if you have a case going on. Otherwise, right now it just comes on in red. I'm going to reconnect my oxygen source. Some other things about the back of the machine. These right here are low amp outlets. They are not meant for anything that draws a lot of electricity, such as a bear hugger, but it could be used for things like computers, etc. We always check for an AmBlue bag. And I want to talk a little bit about the scavenging system. The scavenging system on this machine is a passive one. It's connected to our vacuum. And where people have been a bit confused is you control it by turning this black knob. This black knob, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, we want to have it so that it's not completely closed and about 3/4 to a full turn open. This is the bag that should be flexible but not full or taut, but there should be a little air into it. If you find that your vent is alarming high peak inspiratory pressures, it has been because this has been completely closed and this has filled up. So this right here is the fuse box for it. It's the breaker for the machine. It's not necessarily on-off power. It's the breaker. So what happens when I shut this off, what I do is I make sure that the battery is full. And here's the symbol for the battery. It's green and full. A full battery lasts about 50 minutes, 30 minutes if you're using a lot of stuff on it. The other thing that I do is I actually check to see if the vent will work on battery. Which it is. Okay? So this will remind you to make sure you turn back on your circuit. And it will keep beeping at you like this until you vaporizers are easy to fill. Standard bottle of your gas. These are the connectors. You align them with the cutouts, tighten them. You push down and turn to take this knob off. When you insert the bottle, you turn it until it fits into the matching cutout, and that's all you do. You just hold it down and you wait until you get to your max line. When you're through, pull it out. This gets screwed on. This right here is called the alternate O2 control. This is used in case there is a problem with the electronics in your screen. So if you have any problems electronically, then the machine will automatically use this auxiliary alternate oxygen control. If you have problems yourself where you can't read the screen, or if you have any questions about whether or not the electronics in this is working properly, you can turn this on. The way that you turn it on is you just hit this white button. This will come on 20 seconds after the machine has been turned on. This can be active. So you turn it on and it will be a regular return flow meter. Okay? It is not a separate oxygen source. What it's doing is using the same oxygen source, it's just taking it away from being electronically controlled. And now you can manually control it. This right here is your vacuum. So you can have it on maximum, you can have it on intermittent, and this is how you control it. This is your flow meter for your oxygen, and this is over here where you would plug in your nasal cannula. This is your CO2 absorber, and these machines come with an easy refill. What that means is you can take it out while the case is running. You have two green buttons here. The top one will take the entire unit off. It's not the one that we want you to really do. It takes the entire unit off. It's safe to still continue giving an anesthetic, but this is very cumbersome to put back in. The lower one is the easy fill. What it does is it releases this, you pull it out, you get a new one that's already pre-filled, you just slide this back in and clip it up. So this button is for your flow sensors. This button here releases the whole unit. This one is the one if you want the easy change CO2. The button we don't want you to touch is this. If you hit this, the whole vent module comes out. It's not something you want to touch ever. That's usually ClinEd that has anything to do with that. So this is off limits. This is your calibration, and these two are involved with changing out your CO2. If we could go back to that very first step where we needed to calibrate those flow sensors, if you take this module and shake it just a little bit like we told you to, take it out just halfway, you'll get it to read it. But many times this whole thing comes out. And with it are these modules that fall out of here. These are the flow sensors. And all you need to do if it comes apart like this, the easiest way is to put them back in together at the same time. Like that. You line up these metal pieces with these holes, and you're just going to slide it in and lock it. So don't be alarmed if the whole thing falls off.